Okay, today we're going to be doing a Tracer VOD. We've got a Tracer on New Junk City. Thank you for submitting. So just to begin, we're going to recap what are the fundamentals of Tracer. So number 1, engagement timing. Number 2, target priority. Number 3, pulse usage. Number 4, understanding of line of sight. And number 5, kind of a bonus, is pathing. So in my opinion, you can basically summarize it to have good pulse bombs, who are you engaging on, when are you engaging, and what is your understanding of angles when you're engaging, and also how you get there for pathing. So, quick look at the comps. We're playing with a Diva, Freya, Mercy, Kiri. So most of the time the Mercy is just going to be with the Freya. You're going to be on your own because the Kiri's going to be busy with your Diva. And if we look at that, so nothing really to take away from our comp. No real dive partners unless your Diva hard engages. So that's something you might be looking for. If we look at the enemy team, they have Diva, Genji, Tracer, Juno, Lifeweaver. So 4 fast characters. They're going to be looking for the hard engage onto your Freya. This does mean though that they might, if the Juno goes forward, she might leave behind the Weaver, which is a potential target. On top of that, you also should notice there's a Tracer mirror. In my opinion, it's more important for you to take that Tracer mirror than go for the Lifeweaver. The reason why is because you want to stop the dive comp achieving what it wants to do. You don't want to give them the opportunity to trade. So I think you should be trying to control the side angle, because most of the time Tracer is going to take a flank down here. So your job, in my opinion, here is going to be to shut down the enemy Tracer, to stop her from getting to your backline. And you figured that out just from a quick look at the comps. So I like this, going to the side here, controlling the side angle. And so we should mainly be focused on the Tracer. So the Diva spots you. Okay. The first thing I'm not... Actually, we'll continue, but I noticed something here. Okay. Okay, so aim-wise, to me it looks like your sensitivity is almost too low. Most Tracers, their sensitivity will be almost too high. The mouse will be kind of jumping around the place. But here it seems like you kind of struggle with actually following the Tracer. She's moving too quickly for you to track. So I think what's important for you here is to have a look at your sense. So, first thing is figure out your sensitivity, if you might want to raise it, if you are having trouble tracking targets. And now we can, go back a little bit and look at how we actually played the duel. So the Tracer duel can be quite complex, but we're going to break it down and I'm just going to give you a couple of things to focus on. So the Diva sees you, fine. So here it seems like you're trying to mirror the Tracer's movement in a way by moving with her, which is fine. In my opinion, you should almost never be using a full clip on enemy Tracer without using a blink melee, something like that. So what I mean by that is you can half clip her, then blink, for example, to the side and continue the clip, or you can do a half clip, blink melee, and then finish the clip. But I'd like you to start kind of mixing things up, because when you get to the level of Diamond, Masters, and so on, you're really going to struggle against Tracers if you think that you can just mirror movement and clip, because a better Tracer is going to find a way to get more damage in during this kind of ammo cycle. Also, when a Tracer blinks behind you, your immediate response should be to also blink back. The reason why is because it's easier to blink back and slightly adjust your mouse than to turn all the way around and try and figure out where the Tracer is, whilst this Tracer can already see you. Obviously this guy has not turned around, but that's the point. You want to be able, you want to minimize the downtime. Minimize the downtime where you can't see the Tracer. So you see how it takes both of you quite a while to adjust, but that was a really good blink backwards from you. Okay, Tracer recalls, go for the melee. And so one thing I noticed is you are meleeing, but only when the enemy Tracer is close. So the next thing I'd recommend you to do is practice your blink melees whilst in a duel. Like I said before, you can mix that in when you're fighting a Tracer. Blink melees are not exclusively for at the end of a duel. The highest level Tracers will blink melee during the during the duel, especially when the enemy Tracer is like reloading or something like that. Okay, so it's great we win the duel. Now we need to think about what's our next objective here. And so here I think this is early. The reason why this is early is because you could see your team as you came in here. You noticed my Diva is basically coming out of spawn, but you decide to go. So if we wait for a second, I'll tell you when the right time to go in is. So I'd say about now. About now is the appropriate time to start distracting the enemy, because as you can see, you've forced your Kiri away from the D.Va onto this angle, which, you know, it definitely can be beneficial if your D.Va knows how to manage your HP. But the point is that as your D.Va walks up, you've now been forced out of this angle. You can't stand here ready to engage, ready to follow your D.Va. So you went a little bit early here, and all you need to do is pay attention to what your team is doing before you engage like this. This is great target priority. You know the life weaver is low, you blink onto him, that's great. If we kind of have a look at the aim here, again, I feel like it's another indication of the sense being too low almost. Like you're really, it's almost like you're lagging behind the enemy's position where they're moving to and from. Same thing happened with the Tracer. Nice kill on the Weaver, nice tracking on the Juno, okay, and we won the fight. So at this point, I just look to clear out the Tracer, really nice, yep. And so here, again, here's an example, right, where you were falling, 100% you could have blink meleeed onto the Tracer, just to get that extra 40 damage and continued your clip. Again, blink melee, nice. So that blink melee shows you kind of misjudged the distance. There you need to turn, you need to 180 blink melee. So one thing I'm definitely going to suggest to you is you go into Vaxta, so that's V-A-X-T-A, and you just practice blink melees, like you practice half clip, blink melee, half clip. And also you practice judging the distances of your blink melees. Okay, let's continue. So we kind of cycle away from the enemy D.Va, which is fine. We're looking to get healed. And I think so far we're doing a pretty good job. Nice, still pressuring out the D.Va. And so here I would still be on the lookout for Tracer. I can hear Tracer, and there we go, she gets the jump on us. Blink behind, nice. So you're following her really well with your blinks. Okay. And so here's where I don't really like our position as much anymore. I feel like this is somewhere you'd expect like a Baptiste or an Anna at this rank to be standing. And you can see you're basically double angling with the Freya. So you're on the same angle, and the enemy team, look, is free to kind of pressure your Kiri, pressure your D.Va, and you're not able to do anything. You're playing like a mini soldier basically. So the best thing for you, in my opinion, would be to stand on the angle where you think Tracer is probably going to recontest from, which is here. Because this then gives you access to the Juno, who is split from the Moira. So I think we found ourselves in a really bad position here, and this is going to be the thing that basically stops you from carrying games. Your Kiri dies, and you're not able to get much damage on the Moira, then you blink backwards to the exact same location, instead of following a dive with your D.Va. So thinking about your positioning mid-fight, thinking about creating those openings is something you should definitely be focusing on in the future. And again, it's still happening, right? Can you see how the D.Va's the only one on this angle out of your entire team? You haven't joined her, you haven't picked at the right time to go. So I think it's definitely something to look at, but we'll keep going. Actually, let's keep watching. So we go for the stick, let's see how good is the stick. Okay. That was, look at you, that was very unintentional. So, okay. I want you to think about why this could be a bad pulse bomb. And then think about it, okay? Hopefully you've got your answer. Right, so I think it's a bad pulse bomb for multiple reasons. Number one, she's actually kind of far away. Like, I feel like you're going for this Juno who's walking backwards, but it hits the Moira. And even if you're going for the Moira, you don't know if she has Fade or not. She hasn't used Fade recently. And finally, you've got two people on your team, your kind of main healer and your tank are both dead. Like, it's very likely that your D.Va dies here. So I think going for a clutch play like this needed to come earlier. It needed to come before the D.Va lost her mech. So pulse bomb wise, it's not the best pulse bomb, but luckily we do get a result. It's like, okay, nice blink. So here's a kind of mistake from you. You get too close to the Genji. So in the Genji Tracer matchup, the Genji wants close distance as much as possible, and you want medium distance as much as possible. So here, for example, you blink forward, and we'll look at the Genji POV. Okay, so if he saves his right click, and you blink here, he just turns, right click, melee, and you're dead. So you have to be really, really careful in terms of how close you're blinking to targets like Genji, even targets like Cassidy as well, who can get easy headshots on you. Okay, keeping the pressure up here is nice. There's no real threat from the supports onto you. We go for the touch. I don't think you needed to recall. You had another blink in you to keep stalling, and that gives them the flip. But so far, not too bad. Honestly, just some minor mistakes, as well as I think engagement timing, pulse bombs, sensitivity issues are the main things I'm thinking about. Okay, so now the good thing is we've managed to stay alive. We got 87% on the point, which is great. So I'm not sure that contesting here is the right move. I think you need to be thinking about the enemy tracer and how she's going to be looking for a pulse bomb. So instead of contesting the point here, especially because you're on 87 not 99, so the flip still gives time for the enemy team to recontest, what you need to be thinking about is how can I pressure this enemy tracer. And even if you are going to go point, I feel like it's so important that you shoot the Juno here. Like, you could do half a HP with one clip from this distance, and then you can even finish her off. But she does ult in the end, and that D.Va's on you. And here's kind of another mistake, again, like more of a micro matchup mistake. You're too close to the D.Va. You should kind of realize as soon as she's here, you need to realize that if she is still, like, she's using missiles, as soon as you see the missiles, you hear the missiles, you need to be blinking back. And so far we haven't really spoken about LOS because it's not much of a problem, but you want to pick an LOS, you want to pick an area where only one person can see you. Like, for example, right now the Juno can see you and the D.Va. So if you're fighting the D.Va standing here and you want to blink, if I was you, I'm either blinking here where the Juno can't see me, or I'm blinking here. Because it's not like you're going to cap the point, sorry, here. Because it's not like you're going to cap the point anytime soon. So that's an example of how you need to apply understanding of LOS to when you're playing. Okay, we're out. Okay, really nice engage. Again, can go for a blink melee there to get the extra damage. And so here, again, I think capping the point is not important. Why? Because you're on 87%. They still have time. And look what's happening. Whilst you are capping the point, they're clearing out your team. And now it's a disaster. Because you've given them time to clear out your D.Va, you've given them time to clear out, kill your Kiri, I think it was, and then you miss out the point because of that. So you need to understand what is the actual point of touching point. Okay? Touching point is useful when the enemy team feel like they need to contest. The enemy team has not really needed to contest at any point, and what this has allowed is them to stick with their game plan. What was their game plan? To execute dives on your team. So it's so important that you look at your team comp, look at the enemy team comp, figure out what's going on, and understand how that will influence your playstyle. Because I promise you, if you're contesting the Tracer during these fights, it gets so much harder for the enemy team. Okay. So I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. We only have a few minutes. Let's see. I want to look at the next bomb, see how this went. Okay, so we're in overtime. What's the situation? So again, it's you versus 1, 2, 3, 4 people. And we go for a pulse bomb. And the Moira has fade. So this is twice in a row. We've just thrown pulse bomb onto a Moira with fade. Like, I'm sure you know not to do this. I'm sure you're a better player ultimately than this. But this is showing that you're basically ignoring a fundamental aspect of Tracer, which is being able to get value with your pulse bombs and knowing how to execute a good pulse bomb. So I have a video on my channel on how to perfect your pulse bombs. It's only 10 minutes. It's really a really useful video, so I suggest you check out that, because I say pulse bombs definitely need work here. We'll even look at one more. Again. Oh, hold on. So he had he had recall. So I don't know what the point of him not recalling was. But again, it's not a good pulse bomb because he has recall. It's a pre-fight pulse bomb, so it's a really good idea. But the problem is, this guy has recall. He can just avoid the pulse bomb. On top of that, what is stopping you from one-clipping this guy as he walks in a straight line? Nothing. Just one-clip him. Don't need to waste pulse bomb. So yeah, pulse bomb's definitely an issue. Let's go to the next point. Let's see how you die actually. Okay, you're just kind of standing in front of the enemy, fine. Okay, we'll look at a couple more fights and then we'll wrap it up. And also, you can see they've changed. They're not on Live Hero anymore. They're on, or Juno. They're on Moira Ana. And this is a pretty greedy backline. There's a shit ton of healing. It's actually quite difficult to get to them. So this, again, reinforces the idea that you want to be shutting down the enemy team's dive. And how do you do that? You do that by making sure you take the Tracer duel. Okay. So here, another example. I'm going to touch on it again because I think you really need to start doing this. Okay? You blink in front of the Ana. It's very sudden for her. What should you do? Think about what we said before. 3, 2, 1. Obviously, what you should do is half clip the Ana, blink melee, finish your clip. This is going to force nade out of her because she gets so low. If she hasn't used sleep already, she's going to panic and use sleep. You have your recall to avoid that if you don't have any blinks left. And then boom, you finish the Ana and there's a kill because the Moira's left her. So going on to the Ana instead of Tracer is fine because the Moira did leave her Tracer. You can still take the duel if you want to. But here's a chance to get, like, really, really easily get a kill. And so many, again, here we can see like a lot of unnecessary blinks. So this blink is fine if you clip before. This blink is fine as well. She's missed the sleep, okay? She's missed the sleep, which means the only major form of damage you can do is like a shot and a nade. So if you get shot once, sure, you can recall. But I think, like here, for example, what actually makes you blink here, you know? As the Ana is like jumping in an arc and walking in a straight line, there's nothing forcing you to blink here. So blink management, understanding you don't have to blink all the time, and blink is really useful for things like blink melee, avoiding abilities, but not so much to just randomly jump around. Because I promise you, if you didn't blink here, you'd be here right now. You reload, you finish off, you blink melee at the end, boom. So I think I'm going to wrap it up there. This video's gone on quite, kind of long. I would honestly, I'd love to do a Tracer coaching session with you. I think Tracer is one of those incredibly high skill ceiling heroes where there's a lot to touch on. But I hope this video helped. Just to recap, there's a few things to think about. So the first thing is going to be looking at your sensitivity. Your sensitivity might be a bit too low to track targets. The next thing is going to be your pulse bombs. I recommend you watch my pulse bombs video. It's only 10 minutes long. It covers everything. And practice in Vaxter. Same thing with blink melees. Blink melees half clipping, so half clip, blink melee, half clip. You practice that in Vaxter, V-A-X-T-A. Please practice that in Vaxter. And then we also said engagement timing, making sure we're paying attention to if our diva's here. And then the last thing I'd say, honestly, is going to be understanding your win conditions. Win conditions is basically just what specific things do I have to do to win the game. And all you have to do really is look at the comps. And after you look at the comps, if you're midway through the game like now, look at who's carrying. Like, is the Genji carrying more? Is the Tracer carrying more? That might influence your decision on who to take the duels with, on who to try and shut down. So in this case, it was mainly looking at the Tracer, trying to prevent them from diving on your team, because we saw that was a massive, massive, massive problem on the first point. And the very last thing is understanding when you need to contest point and understanding how to juggle point contest properly. How to basically long it out for as much as you can without dying. I might make a video on that, on how to point touch properly on Tracer. But yeah, I hope this video was helpful. Please let me know your thoughts. Thank you for submitting a replay.